So here come We Are the New Farmers. We Are the New Farmers are from Brooklyn, New York, mentored by John Liddy. They are the new farmers. We Are the New Farmers brings the benefits of microalgae straight into smoothies with its fresh, frozen, farm-grown spirulina cubes. They're packed with dense micronutrients and loaded with antioxidants. Jonas Gunther will present. So please welcome Jonas to the stage. Woo, come on. Let's do this. Welcome. Here's your clicker.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Jonas, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of We Are the New Farmers. 2022 was a devastating year for food. While the West Coast was engulfed in wildfires and the East Coast was hit by hurricanes, the majority of the states in the country actually experienced historical droughts that impacted all of our staple crops from wheat to soy to corn. And in fact, 73% of farmers experienced a reduction in harvest yields in 2022 due to droughts, according to the American Farm Bureau Federation. And it's even trickling down into the protein production. Average herd sizes in livestock have been down over 60%, over 30% year over year in 2022. And what these numbers are telling us is that climate change is here. And it has a tight grip on our food production. And what it also tells us is that we have failed to build a resilient food system and that we're actually heading straight into a food crisis, not enough production in upcoming years. But what if I tell you that there's a crop that is resilient to climate change? A crop that can be grown with a fraction of the resources compared to more traditional crops like corn, wheat, and soy. And it's a crop that has a lower carbon impact, a crop that has less freshwater use, and most importantly, can be grown efficiently on non-arable land. A crop that's also a nutritional powerhouse with a higher protein content than chicken breast and a higher iron content than spinach. What I'm talking about is microalgae. Microalgae are tiny aquatic organisms in the same family as seaweeds like kelp, and they've been touted as the best food of the future for decades by experts. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, a professor here at Cornell University published a study claiming that microalgae farms can increase global food production by up to 50% in the next 2 to 3 decades. So what's going wrong? The industry today is a complete mess. The majority of the production is happening abroad, in China and India, and it's done in open ponds that are exposed to the elements. And that leads to 2 things. Number 1, very low efficiencies, and number 2, very high contamination. And as a result, customers today are stuck with outdated and off-putting products. Farmers are forced to dehydrate their products into a processed powder that's then shipped abroad. That has contamination issues, but most importantly, it's rather disgusting. It has a pretty bitter flavor, it's pretty foul tasting. People eat it anyways because it's supposed to be nutritious, but it's really not pleasant. And as a result, microalgae overall is kind of relegated to a niche aisle in the supermarket, not really unearthing the full potential. So we are rethinking the process from the ground up. We are pioneering the way it's grown. We're the first commercial indoor spirulina farm in the entire United States. We developed indoor microalgae farming technology that allows us to grow algae in a 24/7 controlled environment, year-round, and resilient to whatever is happening outside. And because we use precisely adjusted inputs, our growth rates are 25 times faster than what you see in outdoor production. Plus, we don't have contamination issues because we're completely controlled. But we didn't stop there. We also changed the way it's processed. We don't do powders. All we do is fresh and unprocessed algae. And that's possible because of our proprietary harvesting and processing methodology, which enables us to deliver longer shelf life, better texture, better flavor, and higher nutritional content. And the end result is algae reinvented. Like in our fresh frozen spirulina cubes, our hero products. It's a completely fresh and unprocessed product. We take our cubes, we pre-portion them, flash freeze them, they sit them in your freezer, and then you take a cube and pop them into your blender when you want to make a smoothie. You have an instant green smoothie. That means it's unprocessed apart from the freezing. It is completely pure, just 100% spirulina, no contaminants, but most importantly, it actually tastes delicious. No more bitterness. We have a very mild and pleasant flavor with a rich and creamy texture that our customers really love. And best of all, it's extremely nutritious. 1 cube has the same amount of nutrients as 2 cups of leafy greens, and 2 cubes have the same amount of protein as a chicken egg. It's been an instant success with our customer base. We shipped over 100,000 cubes over the last few years. We made $500,000 of revenue at this point. Mindbody Green calls us our favorite spirulina brand, and we won the best smoothie product of the year. If you're more into the numbers, we have a thriving, profitable, and accelerating D2C subscription business with 95% monthly subscription retention. That is way above industry average because it's a really sticky product. And we maintain 60% plus gross profit margin on our subscriber products, enabling us to continue to grow. But this is not only a D2C thing. We're also catering to B2B. It's a really smart choice for the food service industry, specifically for juice shops and smoothie shops. We're enabling to increase their average transaction value in their stores, but more importantly, we're enabling them to differentiate themselves to other juice shops in the area by offering super interesting new products. So we have a lot of traction. And we ran a little experiment actually to show you how much. On August 31st, when we were announced here as finalists for the Grow and Why competition, we were in 1 location in New York State. Just 8 weeks later, November 1st, when we had to submit this presentation, we were in 13 locations and secured an additional LOI. And remember, we're talking about B2B, so there's some additional sales cycles going on here. And we recently learned that we're also, with the local supplier here in Syracuse, supplying the University of Syracuse football team as part of the recovery. So hopefully it helps them now to get over the losing streak. But obviously, we're not just talking about New York State, we're talking about the entire country. We're already in conversations with juice shops all across the country. We've secured 50 LOIs for 50 plus locations, and are in conversations with 500 plus locations. So we're well positioned over the next 12 to 14 months to really roll this out rather quickly. And then the team behind it. We're an extremely experienced team in this. We have everything that it takes to take an indoor microalgae farm and accelerate it fast. We have the cultivation expertise, which is really important in this area, but most importantly, we have the passion for algae. Not only to talk your ear off at the dinner party about the latest algae facts, but more importantly, to forge the alliances that are necessary in this industry to succeed. For our recent grant application, we received letters of support from mayors, from members of Congress, from senators, from world-leading universities like Cornell, as well as economic development corporations. But we also have the passion to recruit the people that matter in this industry. We have onboarded a dedicated operations team, which has decades of experience in rolling out CPG companies. They are basically the builders behind brands like Chobani and Sakara, like Rouse and Juice Press. Over 140,000 square miles in the United States are suitable to microalgae production according to the USDA. That is larger than New Mexico. And what it means is, as microalgae is becoming an increasingly important resource, it's an enormous development opportunity. And we believe that New York State can be at the center of microalgae innovation. Over the last couple of years, we've developed relationships with many partners here in the region, and we had the pleasure over the last few weeks to do a little customer discovery tour and visit a lot of them and ask them what would it take to take our collaboration to the next level. And we talked to some of our old friends like Cornell and RIT that we have done projects with in the past. And we talked to some of our new friends that potentially unlock new research opportunities. And what we realized is that there is, in fact, a lot of algae excellence here in the Grow and Why region. But it's a patchwork today. And what we want to do is we want to give microalgae a new home in New York State by building a state-of-the-art R&D facility right here that can tackle some of the most pressing issues, and it can actually translate the amazing research that's done in academia into commercial applications. For that, we want to build an R&D farm with a product dev kitchen, some meeting space, and a laboratory space to reinvigorate the once existing algae consortium here in the area, and also to tackle some of the really interesting research topics. It will house 13 full-time staff members, researchers, administrators, farmhands, and we'll really take this to the next level. And you'll see, this will all be possible because we're not thinking about this as a $1 million project. We have a track record of attracting additional public and private money that we intend to funnel into this project as well. And as a result, we will be at the center of a blooming industry. It's not about us, it's about creating an ecosystem, as microalgae is becoming an increasingly important resource. As we are unlocking new commercial applications, it will benefit the region with hundreds of new jobs in food manufacturing, in non-food algae applications, for tech providers, for waste stream providers, and really have an overall effect that centers New York State here as the center of innovation for microalgae. Climate change is an enormous challenge, and there's enormous potential here in the region in excellence and knowledge, and combined with the potential of microalgae, we believe we can overcome this, because in algae, we trust. Thank you.
Great.